Hi, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching with our trade review on ES for September 12th, 2013. So want to kind of go through the steps. First of all, this is for educational purposes. Nothing on this video or my blog should be considered a trading recommendation. This is simply so that others out there can learn to trade successfully and hopefully make really, really good money. So taking a look at today, let's kind of go over where I came in and see if I can't kind of rebuild the day for you. So first thing that I mentioned coming in on the daily profiles this morning is that first of all, we had pushed up, but we were unable to push above 1690 overnight. And really that push was the 1688, 1689. So there was no new initiative buyers overnight. First clue that we didn't have an overly strong market. We didn't have an overly weak one either. But it hadn't been like in prior days where we were really just pushing up overnight, right? Second thing that I mentioned I was going to look for on the open is how strong is the tick out of the gate, right? That's one thing that I want to know. We were opening up near the Globex highs for, I was up near the Globex highs for ES, but we were well off of them for NQ. Coming into the open. That was one thing that I also noticed, another characteristic that maybe we won't be running so hard today. And then the other thing I noticed was the flip side, right? A lot of traders want to come in and they want to immediately go, well, we've run up so much, we've got to pull back. Like they look at this chart and they go, well, we've got to come back into this area down here and retest this base. But we don't, folks. It just, the market doesn't care. The market doesn't have our rules, right? This is a collective decision-making process between all of us. We're all negotiating. And there's nothing that says unless we all decide that we want to come back down here and test, it ain't going to happen, right? And not only that, but just if you look historically on run-ups, right? Look where we tend to come back down is once we've had pretty good size damage. But if you look at this run-up, right? If you said the same thing through this whole process, right? Look how long it took before we actually came down and experienced lows. And look at the period of time we had here where we were basically just trading sideways for an extended period of time. And this is a lot of sideways trading here, right? So when I look at that, right, I don't set my mind into, oh, we're all bullish now. We're the term would be we're in an uptrend and we're a little overbought, probably would be an accurate description. So I'm not going to look for straight down trading action. And by the same time, because we are overbought, we need a little consolidation before continuation probably. I said I was looking for balance. So that takes us into, and then the first clue that we won't be continuing up higher anymore is the first time we can actually manage, which has been days now, with the exception of this news piece. If we actually come all the way back in here, we have not tested the prior day's low. In this entire period of time, we have not even tested the prior day low. Today held up just the same. We came nowhere close to yesterday's lows. So we're still in this uptrend, and I'm going to assume, right? I'm going to assume that we are still in this uptrend, until I see us come down and at least trade below. And then a lot of times what you'll see is even when we trade below, right? On the first days, we'll come in and we'll trade below, but we push back up. We tend not to close very often on the lows of the day when we have these situations. Closing on high is much more common than closing on low. So even if we were to penetrate the lows, it wouldn't mean that I would turn super bearish. As a matter of fact, just the opposite. I would look for us to push back into the range if we did trade below the lows the first time, unless it's on the very, very end of the day. Issue number two that we came in, I wanted to look at the tick. So let's take a look at the market for a second. We opened up. First of all, NQ was off of the highs. That was one piece of the puzzle. We opened up and the tick was negative, even though we opened nice and high and we got gap fill right out of the gate. We opened up essentially at gap fill, right? Gap fill is a great place. It's not an every time trade, but when you have a weak tick and you kind of open up at gap fill, it's kind of an invitation for sellers to come in and push down a little bit, right? And then the next thing to test was Globex high. So I took the trade here. I covered for my 2 points. I took half. Why did I take half? Because I thought we could come down and test. This should have been Wednesday's low. I was tired when I made it out. But yesterday's RTH low. And I was kind of right. We did kind of push down there, but we pushed back up first. And that's the part where it gets a lot of traders, where you can be right and you can be wrong. Let's say you covered nothing. You scaled none of this. You didn't take your 2 points. You didn't do anything because we're certain that we're going to RTH low. Well, you experienced nothing but frustration, and you probably stopped your trade out right as we set new highs, right? You probably broke a computer, smashed your glass, did something. That happens a lot. By covering half, I gave myself breathing room here because I accepted the fact that, A, I can be wrong. I always accept that I'm wrong. I had my original stop in here, and I was very patient. And I saw that we were unable, we tagged Globex high, but we were unable to break it. And I finally said, I'm going to take a short up here. And I ended up, actually, I didn't get the high. I got 1689, I think, is where I ended up filling that trade. Right, and I just reloaded what I'd already shorted, so my risk was already reduced. I was still confident that we're going to have a balanced kind of day, which means at least I thought we would trade back into here, right? I didn't see, if we were going to have an extension up, it would have broken right here. And that was my opinion, and that was my read. There's nothing factual I can point to and go, well, if this was going to happen. There's no rule about it. We just couldn't break. We sat here for 30 minutes. So I sat very patiently. Again, when I got, I forget where I covered, I believe I covered the first half of the second half that I put on +2. And then I covered another quarter of that, of the whole position that was left at +3.5. And then I took the last part of what was left. I'm going to have to go back and do the math to break it down exactly, but I took the last part of what was left at 1683.5. That's pretty much almost the high of the day, almost to the low of the day, right? And I had some errors. I was on the phone working on a business issue that I'm having, and I missed this low to cover here. And so when I'm going through the course of the day, right, I know, where I wanted to bring it back, the trust in the plan. The zones themselves are an edge. I know that. I've been doing this for a long time. What I was going to say is if you're listening to this and going, well, I couldn't take the trade, or I saw it, but it just wasn't right for me. Part of the issue is when you follow someone, and I mean anyone, you can follow Vader7X, you can follow eMini Player, you can follow eMini Wizard, you can follow anyone under the sun, Hamzy Analytics, all those guys, right? They're all good traders. When you follow someone, if you don't understand and build trust, not only in the methodology with which they came up with their areas, okay, but the methodology in which they extract their edge, right? I have a method for which I build my confidence. And even when I have days like I did on Tuesday where I'm having an off day and I'm executing horribly, which I did execute horribly, right? I can go right back and look at my spreadsheet. I can correct where I made errors in judgment. And I come back the next 2 days, yesterday and today, and I have really strong days. I'm on track to have the best week in 2 or 3 weeks right now. It's a really good week. And the key to that whole thing of putting the whole week together was all the previous days where I was struggling last week and I didn't have any serious drawdowns. That's where I'm making my money right now because I'm not trying to recover. I don't feel like I have to get to a new high. I'm at a new high, actually. I'm having to recover nothing. There's nothing that was lost. I was up 1.5 last week. I was flat for the first 2 days this week. I was up the prior week, not a lot, but I was up. And I'm referring specifically to the day trades and not my swing trades because it's a different story. Last month was a fantastic month swing trades wise and continues to be so. But that being said, I keep very close. I use a spreadsheet, and I use the spreadsheet to develop my brain, to trust my methodology, to know that even if it's failing on the short term or if it's struggling or not giving my setups, to stay with it. Too many times a trader will go in and go, well, I've had 4 or 5 days of struggling. This crap doesn't work. F it. I'm going to go and see look what's new mini trader is doing today, right? Or see what John is doing. Or this guy called out a trade yesterday and he made 20 points, right? But if you're not consistent in your execution, all you're doing, you're just sheep following the crowd, right? With no edge and no knowledge of whether you actually have a business. And in no other business in the world would you be able to do this. No one, can you imagine if you're a dentist opening a dentist office and someone comes in with a toothache and you go, I don't know if this will actually work. I'm just going to grab this drill and see if I can take care of it. Oh shit, the Novocaine. I forgot you had to have Novocaine on the treatment. I'm sorry, dude. That would never happen in any other business but this one where people come in and they go, F it, I don't need to know the procedures. I don't really need to know what the odds of this being successful or not. Why? Because you're not going to sue yourself, right? You can't sue yourself for being stupid. You can sue a dentist for being stupid. You can't sue yourself for being stupid, okay? And trading without a game plan is stupid, guys. I'm sorry. I don't hate to be blunt. I'm not rude very often. I try to be very encouraging. But when you don't have a trade plan, you don't have it written down, you haven't reviewed it, you haven't gone in the morning and you looked at the end of the day and gone, oh, this is what I intended to do. This is what I did. That's what I was able to do on Tuesday. This is what I intended to do. This is what I did. Holy crap, these two things don't match. I better get back on the same page if I want to make money. Okay, that's how that works. And that's how it gives me the courage when we're at the high of the morning, we're banging up against highs, and I look at it and go, the zone's going to hold. And why can I do that? Because I've seen it a million times now. I've done the same thing day in, day out. It's actually boring. Okay, and that's what it should be. Making money should be boring. This is regular. And that also opens me up, the last piece of this, to seeing the communication of the market, because I'm not sweating my stop. My stop is already in there. I'm watching what the market is saying to me. And you're capable, if you're a struggling trader and you're listening to this, or you'd like to be a consistent trader, and you dreamed of making all that money, whatever that dollar was for you, whether it's $100,000 or $1 million or $10 million, okay? It's all out there. In ES, executing one contract is the same as executing 100 contracts, right? That is all there for you, but not if you don't have the structure in place to take advantage of the opportunity that's presented, right? And that's exactly what is going on with traders that are losing money. It's heartbreaking when you see it. It is heartbreaking when you see it, and it's not necessary. So going on, I was actually distracted and missed my cover here. If you look, and we look at a 1 minute chart, and I won't wear everyone out if anyone's actually still listening to this at this point. Okay, at the high, we got a high tick and we aren't able to push to new Globex highs. Big clue for me right there. That's why I took that second short. Okay, I did not take the long here. I probably should have. It'll go down as a trading error, but I didn't take the long. What can I say? And then let me take care of my dog here for a second. Okay, took care of the dog. So what I was saying here is if we look on the 1 minute chart right here at the low, look at the tick divergence that we got right there. I mean, that was beautiful, right? And I really, 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 really wish I had been here. That was a trade I missed. I would have loved to flip that. And then taking the short back in for the lows again would have been really nice. But that's that. I didn't do that. I had a quarter position on, and I still did quite well with it. I might have even gotten lucky if you look at it that way. So I wanted to point something else out to you here. Doing these statistics and doing the trading, it doesn't have to be my way, right? I'm certain this trade right here was some kind of 50 back here. As a matter of fact, we can look, right? Because there's a million ways to do this thing, right? Let's see here. Here's approximately the highs. Here's the lows. This is just past 50 back. This is a 61.8 to 50 back right there, right? Right at the bottom of this zone, half back to the lows. So there's all kinds of ways. There's all kinds of ways to make money in this market. But if you don't have a way of cataloging exactly what you're doing, and you're not doing something in a repetitive fashion, just like a quarterback in football, just like a race car driver, just like any athlete, any performance-oriented product or personnel, right? You have to be able to break down the mechanics of what you are doing and look at the net results, right? Same problem Tim Tebow has, man. Dude's an awesome guy, right? Who really wouldn't want the guy on the team? Unfortunately, he can't throw a ball worth crap, and he can't change his mechanics to let him do that, right? And he doesn't want to go and play another position. Well, in Tim Tebow's case, he's now out of the NFL. That's what happens when you can't throw a ball and you only insist on playing quarterback, right? And you can't change your mechanics. The same thing happens in trading. If you can't document your mechanics, you don't know how well they work and under what circumstances they work, right? And you don't know whether you need to trade another product or something that fits your personality better. But you'll never know that unless you keep in-depth stats. And the problem with that is it takes an hour or two in the evening to really get that done for me. I suppose it can be automated, but for me, I put a good hour a night in on that to make sure that everything's going smoothly. And I do a lot of work before I pick up a new contract and just start trading it. Or if there's a change and my numbers start dropping, I pause. I spend a lot of time looking at my performance and making sure that I can pick it back up and continue to make money at a high rate, because I hate working for free. So that's a little insight into what I was looking at. I hope everyone had a great day. If you're struggling as a trader, if you don't like me, or you don't think I can help you, or you just want someone that will hand you trades, one of the three, which I don't do, and you would like a referral to somebody who does do that, I know 5 or 10 guys via the internet. I don't know them, right? But get a trade plan that actually works for you and a product that works for you. Feel free to contact me. You can do so via email, you can do so via Twitter or StockTwits, right? And get to someone who can help you out. My name is Simon. I hope everyone made a lot of money today. Be a good trader. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.